From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
Good morning, everybody. It's early mornings LALATE with your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. And boy, there's great news. There is a lot of great news as the president signals a deal in the works to change one of the back ends that gets the fourth stimulus to the finish line. It is a jaw dropper, and it remained the only question at issue to get Democratic Alliance to get it to the finish line for recon. I'll have all the breaking, developing details on what the president said. It's incredible great news to start a Friday morning. Also big news is that the Department of Labor has announced that your money should be returned back to you from certain states. I'll explain what this money is as well. Then, new good news as well about the CDC eviction moratorium initially ruled unlawful in one jurisdiction. Now there's a stay for that ruling, meaning it's put on halt while the appeal is pending. I have all the details for that. And today, Friday morning, guess what? There's a big number coming out. And this big number could mean incredible big news for your stimulus. It's a big economic data, and it comes out once a month, and it's coming out shortly after sunrise. I have all the big details and what happened yesterday to signal what's going to go on with this number when it comes out in just a little bit. It's a big morning. I'm so excited you're here. I have a lot of other breaking news about your fourth stimulus check, your fifth stimulus check, and the big money that's landing in your bank account this week and next week. Let's get to it. Let's get to early mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's early mornings LALATE, and I hope you're having a beautiful, refreshing early morning on a Friday. You almost made it to the weekend, unless, you consider Friday the weekend. So how are you? The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and I'm excited you to join me. This is LALATE, the first and only 24-hour news channel recording 24 hours a day, 7 days a week about your financial news across the board. I don't want you to miss a single recording, and I'm adding new programming to the show in the next few days, so I don't want you to miss any of that programming, so make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Let's do 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. The incredible great news starts with the fourth stimulus check update of 2021 right off the bat, as the President of the United States made a major deal statement yesterday that signals we're going to the finish line. We know we're doing reconciliation. The only question was anything that could derail reconciliation. It was the corporate tax rate. 2 days ago, Representative Neal, head of the Ways and Means Committee, a Democrat, said, I don't particularly like the pay-fors for this package. It needs to get modified. And 2 months ago, Joe Manchin said, I don't particularly like a 28% proposed by the president. It's currently 21%. I think 21% is too low, said Manchin. How about 25? Well, guess what? Yes, yesterday the president said, deal 25, I'll do 25 to 28. Let's do a deal, and away we go. Oh my goodness, we see that finish line in front of us. Let's go over the two plans. The House plan introduced by Talil and Jalapal is a more lucrative plan, but takes longer to get the checks. So the first month would be $2,000, and then there would be $1,000 reoccurring every month thereafter for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. So let's go over that and compare it to the Senate plan. The Senate plan is slightly different, but first let me go over the eligibility. Who gets it? You do. If you make less than $75,000, you do. It is yours. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you get double the amount. Household, 4 or less, you get up to 4 checks. And then if you're on SSI or SSDI, you get it as well. So let's cut back to the comparison of the House and the Senate. The House are doing more checks. They're just doing more checks. 4 months, let's say there's 4 months left of the pandemic, then 4 months of checks, and then a year thereafter. So they're doing the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year of checks thereafter. The senators are just doing till December. But before you think that the senators are giving you less checks, let's look at the amounts per month. While the House members are paying $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, the senators, the amount is unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Word on the street is it's this, either $2,000 a month, $12,000, or $1,400 a month, $8,400. Here we go. Really incredible, great news. So how, when, and where? Let's go over all those details. First, in the month of July, you would get the stimulus check the leaders represent for the month of July, and then every month thereafter. It would be a monthly stimulus check. It would not come in waves. The vote would be in July. The vote would get the checks out in the month of July for the month of July and every month thereafter. There would be no waves of stimulus checks because they can't do that. The checks would land. Do we know anything about whether the checks are taken out for child support? We don't know that at all at the moment. It's not income. It's not a taxable event. It would not disqualify you from benefits. And the adult dependents and the minor dependents would get the same amount of check. We are done. Hallelujah. We just need to get this starting to recon and finish. It's a 2-month process, 2 bills, 2 steps in the month of May, in the month of June, and then out the door in the month of July. And away we go. Now, yesterday had incredible great news to start the day, which signaled the support for forced stimulus. And today we could see the second big element of news, which would defy all my worries over the last month. You know what that news is if you've been watching me since last night on LA Late Night. Yes, in just a few minutes, we're going to hear the most important number for purposes of your stimulus checks. The April jobs number. This is the only real number that scares me. And you know why it scares me. Because of what happened last month. Last month, the month of March, the number of jobs created in this economy was 1 million. Well, that was a great number, and that causes no concern whatsoever because there's 8 million jobs missing. 1 into 8 means it takes 8 months to restore this economy, means the economy will be restored at the end of the year, meaning the stimulus checks will already be in our pockets by then. But what I was worried about was a month ago today, there was a series of analysts that said we could see in the month of April incredible job growth, much faster than 1 million. And they talked about 2 million. 2 into 8, folks, is 4 months. That signals that the economy could be rebounded around when the stimulus check vote is happening. Yeah. Or shortly thereafter. Yeah. Well, all analysts going into today's report say that today's number will be the same as last month. It'll still be 1 million, meaning we're not recovering too quickly. Wow, let's just keep our fingers crossed. Let's just keep our fingers crossed because this would be great news for stimulus. All right, what's also supporting that forced stimulus news is what happened yesterday. And what happened yesterday was the new jobless numbers came out Thursday morning, of course, and it showed an improvement, but not anything significant. It was the lowest number of jobless claims since the start of the pandemic, first time under 500,000, but it's not anything jaw-dropping. It's not 250, it's not 300, it's not 100,000. It's still high 400,000. So there you go. Now, I got some other money for you. What is this other money? Well, get ready for some money coming back to you. It's very exciting. The Department of Labor has ordered money to be returned to you ASAP. Whose money and where are you getting it? Let me go over all those details. The Department of Labor has ruled just in the last 24 hours that if you had received unemployment benefits from your state and the state then contacted you and said, oops, we made a mistake. Us, the state, we overpaid you. Please return the money, we overpaid you. And you return that money. The Department of Labor has now ruled that was the state's mistake, and they need to have you reimbursed and return that money back to you. So yeah, if you return that money back to the state because of an overpayment that was not your fault, the states have been ordered to return that money back to you immediately. This is thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of you. Really incredible, great news. Also surprising news was that CDC eviction moratorium that was ruled unlawful by a federal district court 2 days ago was then put on stay pending an appeal. Let me explain what's going on and what does this mean. At issue is whether people can be evicted. And let me tell you what happened. Earlier this week, a district court ruled that you can be evicted and that the CDC eviction moratorium was unlawful. Federal District Court Judge Dabney Friedrich out of the DC District Court ruled the CDC eviction moratorium is unlawful. And that caused millions of Americans to worry if that ruling would be binding in their jurisdiction. It's not, but other jurisdictions could look at that and say, I'm not going to honor the CDC eviction moratorium either. That caused a lot of concern from the White House and millions of renters across the board. Well, the great news going into Friday is that the CDC order is now put in stay pending the appeal of next week. So it remains a mystery for some. I had one viewer named Scott. He went into court recently, showed the judge the CDC eviction moratorium, and the judge threw it away. So we really don't know what's going to happen across the board. Elsewhere, there's a lot of exciting other great news, and that other exciting news is the money landing from third stimulus. I'm going to be going over that in just a second, but let me go over some other breaking, developing details happening today as well. Really surprising, as we have now learned that a series of states are teeing up to end FPUC. Let me explain how this works. FPUC, which is that $300 a month that goes on top of your UI and PUA, is something a state has to apply to the federal government to get it each month. Well, a series of states have applied and have it lined up through when it ends currently of September. Guess what? One state has said they're stopping it immediately in June 27th, and that state is the state of Montana. Governor Greg Gianforte, Republican, has said he is no longer going to offer FPUC in a state effective June 27th. He doesn't want you to have it. He wants people to get back to work. But what's troubling about this report is it says that other states may follow suit as well. Other states may not do the same, may not honor FPUC forward as well. A new report says Montana appears to be the first state to opt out of the federal funding, but workers in other states still have benefits to September 6th. But this could be what's happening going forward. Professor Dube, a professor of labor and economist at Massachusetts Amherst, said it seems punitive, but it's probably the shape of things to come in many red states. There's a report that this is happening. And guess what? If you were with me in 2020, there was a series of red states who did not apply for LWA, which was the FPUC brother in 2020. So this could be happening as well. Well, guess what? There's a lot of money landing. And have you gotten that money? I'm going to go over it right now, and more of it in a little bit. But first, let me go over the big money that almost all viewers qualify for. What is it? It's upwards of $15,000 to $20,000. And I told you in January, as soon as the third stimulus package, that one went live, you're going to see that money. Well, it's been delayed. But guess what? It's going live this week and going live next week. So what is it? The first one is rent. Rent is landing in your city, state, and county because it's just landing from the federal government. This is third stimulus. I know they had money there before from second. It's ran out. This is third. So get ready to get it. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. What do you say? Rent assistance because of COVID. So it's generally 4 to 6 months of rent. It's over $5,000. So go get it. Go get it now. If you reach out and you don't like the eligibility, you don't think you're qualified, then reach out to the nonprofits. The nonprofits, United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, they help with rent as well. This is rent, $5,000 approximately, and then some money for utilities, a couple hundred, a couple $1,000. But guess what? There's more money on top of that, and that's SNAP. SNAP is just absolutely incredible. It's been the real success story of this year. What is SNAP? It's money for food. And a family of 4 in Hawaii, over 1 year, they're getting approximately now $16,000 because of 2 executive orders that extended up to 15% over from now to December. It's incredible. $16,000 over a year. It's just incredible. It alleviates financial burden in the household, allows you to free up that money you would normally spend on food. And now you have that money to spend on something else. It's just incredible. I'm really excited for you. So go get it, Department of Agriculture. Also, if you're having problems getting the rent, or you're having problems getting the SNAP, or you're having problems getting anything, the utilities, reach out to the community page. It's news.la.com/community. It's in the pinned comment to this video and also in the description. And here's a little bit about the community page. I'll be back in 60 seconds with the other big money available for you across the board this week. I'm very excited for you. Stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues just a little bit after this with Mornings LALATE. That is the hit show, one of the original shows from this channel. It's back at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock on the West Coast. I can't wait to see you on Mornings LALATE. I'm live on that show. And then noontime at 2 p.m., I'm live again. Afternoons LALATE follows shortly thereafter. And then we're back with our tape shows, Afternoons LALATE, Evenings LALATE, and LA Late Night. It's a big night and a big day, but now we're on a big morning. The toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here. And boy, I want you to subscribe. I guess we're at 397? So we are 3,000 away from 400,000 in a year in just a few days. No one has done this in the history of YouTube. Get those likes, get that subscriber count going. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe. I want you part of this family. Also like this video, 3,000 likes. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. The fourth stimulus package is really the biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of this channel. But what I want you to know is that for purpose of stimulus checks, it may be big, but it's not as big as rent and utilities and SNAP. I mean, they dwarf the stimulus checks. Well, guess what? I got other money for you as well. Yes, this week, phase 1 starts to land in people's mailboxes or bank accounts. This is the IRS returns refunds of taxes you paid on your unemployment benefits. If you filed a 2020 tax return and paid taxes on your federal taxes on your unemployment benefits from 2020, the IRS is returning the money back to you. But let me explain to you what they're returning to and what you need to do if you haven't done it to get that money back. First, if you filed a 2020 return and paid taxes on that unemployment, you were getting back the taxes that were paid on the unemployment. Here's an example. You made $9,000 of unemployment last year. Your total tax bill on the 2020 tax return was $5,000 to the federal government, of which $1,000 was the taxes on the unemployment. You're getting $1,000 back from IRS starting this week if you're a single filer. If you're a joint filer like husband and wife, you're in phase 2 later this month. Now, if you have not filed a 2020 tax return, but took out for taxes, for federal taxes, when you receive your benefits in 2020, you have to file a 2020 tax return. Go to a tax preparer for that information. Next, If you did not file your tax return yet, then when you do, remember your first $10,200 is not taxable. Ultimately, a not tax preparer, you need to consult one across the board. Then what's also really exciting is that we have gotten that advisory from IRS and Social Security this week that says if you are missing a stimulus check, first one, second one, or third one, file a tax return right away. Last night, one of the viewers in this chat, Tina, asked about another friend whose adult dependent had not received a stimulus check. Should they do a non-fire filing tool? Said Tina. There is no adult non-fire filing tool. There is no non-fire filing tool anymore. The only way to fix it is filing a tax return. All right, so guess who else may have to file a tax return? Yep, if you're ready to get that money for the children in just a few weeks, you need to get that one on file. And guess when that's due? In just a few days. So let me go over those details. Coming up in just a few days is the personal tax return 2020. That's due date is rolling up. And guess who may have to file it? Parents. Let me go over the example. If you're waiting for $3,600 paid to a child 5 to newborn, prorated per month starting in the month of July, or $3,000 prorated starting in the month of July for 17 to 6-year-olds. There are 3 scenarios in which you need to file a tax return. Scenario number 1, you make, first let me go over the income qualifications, $75,000 or less, and you have a child. And IRS knows the child exists. Okay, first reason you need to file tax return. You never file tax returns and you have a child, they ain't going to know that child exists. Dead center. They ain't going to know the child exists. You need to file the tax return. Scenario number 2. You do file tax returns, but you have never told IRS that child exists on the tax returns. You need to file a tax return. Scenario number 3, that you did file a tax return with that child in 2019, but you made too much money in 2019 to qualify for this money. But under 2020, you do qualify and haven't filed the tax return. Then file the tax return. An example of someone who made $250,000 in 2019 and made $30,000 in 2020. Well, you qualify now for the money. Get that tax return on file. And there you go, across the board. Now, I had one viewer last night who asked a really great question, which could be a 4th scenario, the first time you're here on this channel. A viewer said, I have a child. I did a non-fire filing tool last year. Should I file tax return? Ultimately, it's always safer to, but I asked the viewer back, have you missed a stimulus check? Has some stimulus check come late for that child? Is there some sort of warning signal that they don't know about that child? Also, if you changed addresses or you changed bank accounts, that's another reason to get that on file as well. Let's turn to those 4 stimulus checks. Now, those 4 stimulus checks are in addition to everything that I've covered else in this video. So those 4 stimulus checks are the single biggest payout you ever see in the history of this channel for stimulus checks, but it's not the biggest payout of stimulus. I mean, when we're talking about SNAP, it dwarfs this. When we're talking about rent, I've had viewers who get rent far in excess of $12,000. And what's coming up late in this section of this video is there's a lot of other money that is significantly bigger. But the 4 stimulus will start in the month of July, go out in the month of July, and continue at least to December. There are no stimulus checks for the month of May and no stimulus checks for the month of June, but there are these other stimulus payouts that I've detailed in this video. All right, let's go to the incredible great news that happened late yesterday, which was that the corporate tax rate got a pushback from Representative Richard Neal, and then the day ended with the president saying, you know what, I'll make a modification on that. That comes as I have been calling questions about the 5th stimulus provisions, which Richard Neal did as well. The 5th stimulus provisions are not what the president had promised. He had said that he was never going to touch anyone's tax burden if they make less than $400,000. Here's the problem. His proposal for the 5th stimulus does touch their tax burden if they're a married couple by proration. So here's an example. One person, $400,000. Yeah, he's not touching it still. But how much is it for 2 people? Is it $400? No. He's doing less than that. He's doing $600,000. No bueno. That's not what you promised, Mr. President. All right, let's go to the incredible great news elsewhere. about that SSI and SSDI reform that goes on top of your fifth stimulus check. Let me give you a fifth stimulus check update of 2021 starting right now. What are they going to provide? They're going to increase your benefits limits. They're going to add your asset limits raise your asset limits, add inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. This is a Democratic add-on to the fifth stimulus package, much like the fourth stimulus package add-on. Let me explain the details right now. It's easy breezy. Fourth stimulus, you understand, is an add-on that those Senate Democrats or House Democrats or both add on to the fourth stimulus package and do it by recon, a two-bill process over 2 months that takes 2 steps. The fifth stimulus has the same situation, 2-month bill, 2 steps, and 2 months. And that add-on in the fifth stimulus is SSI reform. What are the new benefit? What does that mean, increasing the benefits? And who is you? First, the you. It's you. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, SSA, Social Security survivor benefits. And if you're multiple benefits, all the benefits raised up to a new level, bam. Then they're going to tie you to inflation. So as inflation goes up, your benefits will go up. So inflation is expected to go up to 2 to 4% over the next few years. But if inflation goes through the roof, your benefits go through the roof. Next, the asset cap. It's a 1984 law, and they're going to revoke it. It says you can't keep more than $5,000 on hand if you, $3,000 on hand if you are a certain type of beneficiary. They're going to get rid of it. Then they're going to remove the 1960s law about the income cap. It says you can't work and stay on benefits up to beyond a certain cap. They're going to get rid of it. And they're going to say, hey, you want to work? You can go work. Maybe $1,000 a month, maybe $2,000 a month. You can work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty. If you're a victim of the marriage penalty, you know how bad it is. They're getting rid of it. And if you're facing it head on because you're thinking of getting married and you're worried about it, they're going to remove it as well. This is a non-retroactive proposal. So it would not go retroactively for your benefits. It would go forward, but it would also eliminate all these things. So if you were the victim of marriage penalty, you would no longer be the victim of the marriage penalty. No one else would be the victim of the marriage penalty. Great news across the board. That's your fifth stimulus package update of 2021 with the SSI reform. When would it take effect? Around November. Now, the fifth stimulus, if you remember this channel, has a lot of other items in the fifth stimulus package, and I deliver the PDF to you daily. And I'm not going to go through all the items, item by item, again today, but I do want to remind you that there's a lot of items in there that really help single people and also seniors. They're going to try to make the earned income tax credit for hazard pay permanent. I love it. I think it needs to be a little bit higher. They're going to continue SNAP in the way it is. They're going to try to continue the third stimulus package's law of lowering health insurance premiums for those who buy coverage on their own, and a lot of other incredible details. And with that, it's a great morning. We're going to be watching that new jobs number today. It's coming up. It's coming out. And boy, if that number is 1 million, we're going to have a little pair dance. We're going to have a little pair dance because 1 million is perfect. That means 8 months away at least until this economy is rebounded. We don't know how fast we're rebounding, and so far, the economic data shows we're rebounding, but not at the rate of growth we initially were worried about. And with that, if you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. I want you part of this family, fastest growing community, 397, I guess we are, 3,000 away. Let's do it. Let's do it by the end of the weekend. Let's get it done. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes. Thank you for always tuning in the last few days. You've been making Early Mornings LA a big hit. And thank you for making Mornings LA a massive hit as well. I want to see you in 2 hours from now as that excitement heats up. That excitement starts at Mornings LA, then we go to noontime and then afternoons, and then afternoons, evenings, and LA late night thereafter. Just so much excitement across the board. And with that, as the toast is toasted, the butter is buttering. Always stay positive, always stay focused, always stay motivated. If the weather has sun outside, even if it's cold, go out and look up at the sky and just enjoy the day. You deserve it. You've had a great week, and it's going to be a great weekend. And I look forward to seeing you later today on Mornings LA. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in just a little bit.